Welcome, 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 my friends. It is so good to see you here tonight. And we are here for Friday night scrapping. And I hope you all are doing really well tonight. And a big hello to everyone. Mary and Sandy, Donna, Nerney, Victoria, Susan, hello. Allison's here. And Vicky's here, and Kay, and Sue, and Shirley, Mary, Gwen, Debbie, Kay, hello. Carolyn's here. Big, huge welcome, and thank you all for joining in this Friday night. So I was trying to figure out what we were going to do tonight. And if you remember, a couple weeks ago, we talked about my top 10 design tips. And if you missed that video, you can always catch that on replay. And I'm just looking. Is anybody here from Facebook? Oh, yes. Okay. Gretchen is here from Facebook. Okay. I was wondering whether that post went out or not. I know there was a little glitchy happening there, but it looks like we've got Facebook land too, as well as YouTube. So, if you missed the video, it's always easiest, I think, to catch a replay on YouTube because my whole channel has everything right there. But you can also find it on my feed in Facebook. So just also, if you are brand new here, I would love for you to just say hello and say, hi, I'm new, because I always like, the wonderful ladies in the chat are always so welcoming, and this community is just amazing. And so we would just love to welcome anyone who is new here to the Craft Some Joy community. And it's just great place to hang out. So if you are interested in where you can find me, then these are the places. And lots coming. There's a lot of new things that are kind of brewing in the background that I'm super excited that'll be happening over the next few months, at least for me personally. So stay tuned. There'll be more on that. But as my pop stars know, one of the big things is my pop planner is at the printers. And I was hoping it wouldn't take quite this long, but there are some bits and pieces that are taking a little longer to get in place. And if you've watched me enough, you know that I love to be organized. And one of the ways I do that is with my pop planner. And when I switch over to my overhead, you're going to see some of those pieces that I use, which just help me all the time when I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next and so forth. So that's on the way, and I can't wait until I get to explain it and share it with you even more. And then tonight, what we are working on, thank you for the thumbs up. I know it's been a long time coming. I know it's been a long time coming. So what we're doing tonight, though, is I decided, based on your feedback and some info, that it would be good just to go through those 10 design tips. And I'm not saying we have to focus, like this is the way you have to scrapbook, but let's just talk about these design tips and get a little bit of some kind of show and tell about each of these areas. So tonight, what we're going to talk about is creating a strong focal point. And this is always a really key part of a layout, and you might be doing it whether you know what you're doing or not. Like, you might already be creating a strong focal point on your layouts, but we're going to talk a little bit more about what that involves and how to do it. And then we're going to create a layout together tonight. So in case you're wondering, I did a little stash dive into my collections, my Creative Memories collections, and I found Sun Rays for Days, which went really well with the photos that I picked out to work with tonight. And so just in case, if you have that and want to kind of play around with that a little bit with me, that's the one I'm going to be using tonight. And if you like it that much and you don't have it, I did check. I do have a few more bundles left in my shop, but those are pretty much going on. So the ones with the different pieces to it. Okay, so we're going to have some fun. It is cold and dreary and really cold here for Southern California. So looking at these summertime photos is just going to be fun. All right, so a little bit about news and what's new before we jump in. And one thing is that Creative Memories didn't really have a big announcement for product starting on Monday, but they did announce that they are bringing digital back. And so I wanted to make sure you had that on your calendar. So make sure you go ahead and put that on your calendar, that starting May 1st, from May 1st to May 30th or 31st, I believe it's the whole month of May, starting and ending at noon Central, they are bringing the digital back. And so it was like over 200 digital collections are coming back. You'll be able to order digital pages. All things digital will be happening in the month of May. So if you are interested in getting custom albums or custom pages and all that good stuff, then mark your calendars because it's coming in May. So that was the big announcement to get ready. Secret Box did sell out, and that is coming back in May. I know some of you were really disappointed. In fact, I only got mine and the one for Mary B. So Mary, I hope you're happy about that. Before I blinked and they sold out. So I don't have any extras, but you know, hang tight. They will be back in May. It's a fun collection. It's very music oriented, concert oriented, as you have seen from the graphics. So it's kind of a fun, but it is very specific themed for that. So I'm sure when it comes back in May, if you missed the first go, you'll be super happy when you see that. Okay. So let me know. Yes, Mary B. Woohoo. All right. And maybe somebody can talk me out of mine until May, but let me know if you're desperate to have it. But I only got 2 before they sold out. Okay. Let's see. So what else do we need to know? That was really it. There's not a whole lot of new and what's new from CM, but I do want to share a little bit of what's new with Craft Some Joy. And one of the things you guys, I can tell already, is that you're loving the new adhesive. And so here is what I just wanted to mention. I did a deep dive trying to look into adhesive options because there were some that we had from Creative Memories that we really loved, right? And for me, it was the thin foam squares, and they ran out way, way too fast on the thin foam squares. So I started looking for alternatives to thin foam squares, and then I decided to do is I already had the CM1. Hello, Clementine. And I decided to get the red, like color organized so that I can reach for one and know exactly what I'm getting. So this is the red has the regular strip adhesive in here. And then the green, if you remember, the green is repositionable. So I got one of the holders for that. And then I switched to my blue one from Creative Memories to use the permanent dots. So you can see the little pattern on each of these little plastic things, and those are on the cartridges. So again, you just open this up and it's on the actual cartridge. So whatever cartridge you put in, this shows through the little window as to what adhesive you're using. And so now, because I have wanted some of these things for so long, and I know Creative Memories might be getting some, so if you want to wait, that's cool. But I do have the permanent refills, the regular refills, and the repositionable, and I've been loving how long this repositionable lasts. And some of you may have seen the little reel I did. Did you like that one? Another thing I have sourced is the thin foam sheets. These are thin foam sheets and also thin foam squares. And this is that 1 millimeter, which I just am in love with for my layouts because it just doesn't add that much bulk. And if you saw my reel, you'll note that this is punchable. So you can use this 3D thin foam with your punches. So you can see I just punched that out with the little cruise ship punch. It's so thin. So I had a couple people say, but Lauren, is it going to gunk up your punch? So far, so good. When I finished punching, so I punched this a couple times, there were like right here where the little circles are, a couple little pieces. I just got my tweezers and took them out. But the other thing I always have on hand, and we've talked about this before, is undo. And so if anything ever got really sticky in there, this is what I always pull out for anything sticky. If I get sticky on my filming mat, this is what I use to get it off. I've always got a couple of these handy. And so it's metal. You can just use this on that and it'll unstickify anything. So I am, I'm not worried about the pieces getting sticky, the punches getting sticky or anything. And you can see hopefully how thin that is. And this is got backing on both sides. And I'm still playing around with it. I've thought I might even peel off one side and stick my paper on it and then punch it. And boy, would you get a perfect punch that way. So just a few little notes. So I keep my my new sheets right here. And I still have, as you can see, one of each of the adhesive containers from Creative Memory. So I have my mini, my vellum, my extra strength, my regular, and my repo, all color coordinated here as well. And the good thing is repo is green here, repo is green here. So that helps my brain a little bit. I also keep my tape chips in my bucket, foam tape. I will be getting, since CM did discontinue foam tape, I will be getting some thicker, the 2 millimeter as well. And I keep my red line in here and my precision glue pins. And this just stays right next to me. Now, I want to show you, some of you have already purchased this from my shop, but you might be surprised if you haven't gotten it as the size. These are, this is the thin foam tape friends. So when you see a roll of thin foam tape, you get a roll. It's big. And this is thin. So it's 108 feet. It's a lot of foam. So this will last you quite a while. And I also, I had to try it. They have it in black. So here's the thin foam tape in black, and they also have the little mini squares in black too. So I do have some of those on order just for fun to check them out. But these are big rolls of foam tape. Now, okay, I see Allison asked about the repo adhesive. So this is what I had a talk with the rep from the adhesive company, and she said the repo, even a year from now, the repo will be, you'll be able to move it, peel it up and move it. The permanent though, the permanent dots, once those are down, she said after a few minutes, they become permanent. So they're more likely to rip your paper if you're moving it. But the repo remains repositionable. Okay, so yeah. It's big, right, Debbie? I know, those are big rolls. Okay, and these are different to get to use, to get used to also. But now I feel like I've used it enough. I'm more comfortable, and definitely easier. Yes. And yes, instant thickers. Thank you, Carrie. I know I am just loving all the things now for these really thin little foam sheets. They're really nice quality, and I was thinking the same thing. I cannot wait to use that with my dies and cut and have instant. And then you also have the adhesive ready to go. So you don't even have to put adhesive on those. All right. So that's new and exciting in the adhesive world. There's also some other fun little surprises in my shop. And yeah, I do feel like I wanted to become the adhesive queen, Jean, because that is so crucial to how we put our pages together. And I just felt like I was really missing some things that, just a buffet wasn't enough for me. I just needed more. So this is just a wonderful company to work with anytime. And just as an FYI, if you see a pre-order, so they were out of the repositionable cartridge refills. They put a few of them back up in inventory today, and I grabbed a whole bunch, but it takes about 4 days for me to get my order from them. So if it says pre-order, it's just going to take a few days, just to know that. And then they're getting a big shipment. Sorry, friends. A big shipment of the adhesive back in May, early May. Okay. So that is the pre-order and how that works with my shop. So how many sheets are in the foam pack? You get 2 sheets, Sue, in the foam pack. So this is the size. In fact, I can tell you, let's see how big they are. You can see I punched, didn't do a very good job putting that punch where it should be. But these are 4 by 5 sheets for the foam. Okay. And then the little foam squares, you get 2 sheets in the pack. You get the small and then the medium of those for the foam squares. So little different setup than what we had on the adhesive buffet for the foam squares. But I do just love that they are so thin and easy to use. Okay, so definitely lots to love in the adhesive world. So what we're going to do tonight is, and let me know if you have any other questions. Um, and yeah, I think the foam tape is going to last us a while. So I'll get that out as we go through, and we can see how we use it. But what I'm going to do is actually jump in to detail on design. And I said, like I mentioned, if you have any questions, just pop those in the chat and I'll catch those hopefully before. And we're going to talk about creating a focal point. And I have just kind of a few tips to talk about. And like I mentioned early on, you may be already doing this with your layouts, but I do think each one of the design tips is worth just kind of talking about as we create a layout. And so that's what I want to do in these next episodes, is just talk through some of these design tips and then how can we use that in our scrapbooking. So the first one is creating a focal point. And let's talk about what is a focal point. And really, a focal point is the spot your eye goes to first. Okay, so as a creator, as somebody who likes to put your photos down, and you can create any way you like, and there you can often create just by putting all your photos down and getting as many photos on the page as you want. And you may not be paying attention to a focal point, or you may not be paying attention to where do you want someone to look first on your page. But if it's a different, like I'm going to talk through the photos that I picked, and I thought this was a good example because this was a special event that that happened, and so I thought, yeah, there's definitely some thought that I want to put behind this layout. Okay, so the focal point is, where does your eye go first? And usually this is the photo that you want to kind of capture as your main photo, or it could also be a title, and it could also be a clustering of embellishments. And we're going to talk about those things as well. And a strong focal point helps you tell your story and keeps your layout balanced as well. Okay, so let's talk about then how you, my next slide here. Oh, and then also, why does it matter? Then we're going to talk about how to do it. Why does it matter? Well, it matters because if you're paying attention to your layout, and this is something that you want to do, or just try to level up your layout a little bit, creating a clear focal point makes your page visually impactful, and it also helps whoever is looking at your layout understand what the story is. And that's what I really love about focal points, and also about your the triangle, the visual triangle, is that it helps me tell the story of where I want you to look first, then where I want you to look next, and then, kind of finish your layout in a certain area. And also, when you do take a step back and think about these different design elements, it also helps your layout not feel chaotic. And that to me is also important. It's like you've thought about what you want, kind of a hierarchy on your page. What do you want to see first, then next, then, also tell your story, and then where do you want folks to go next? Okay, so that is why it matters. And then let's talk about how to create a focal point. And the first way is to use contrast. The second way is to use size. The third way is to frame it. The fourth way is to highlight it with embellishments. And the fifth way is to use white space. And so I'm going to come back to that slide. And if you want me to put any of those back up, just let me know. But I think it's always really good to see this in action, right? To see this firsthand. Like, what do you mean? Okay. So what I wanted to share is, so tonight I went back and I found an album. This was actually my, I have kind of different years. I have different projects in. So this is my 2021 album. And in this album, I realized I have a lot of finishing up to do. I started some layouts. Some of these you might remember from, many moons ago. And then I have some blank pages. And I thought, my goodness, I think we did this one many Fridays ago. And I need to finish this up. So that's always a good indicator when I'm, here working. I think we did a gratitude layout here. So long. So this is 2021. And I thought, okay, so I need to get a handle on this album project. So I got my two favorite trackers, my photo tracker, which is getting a listing of all the photos that I have for a certain year or for a certain project. And so I wrote all this down, and I was really saddened to see that, kind of my birthday and Mother's Day was not really accounted for this year. So, that kind of helps me understand how I'm going to create this album. But then there were other events like what I'm going to share tonight that I have some really great photos of. So once I have my list, I can start to map out. So this is my album map out what pages are in my album. And then these, once I write it down, it's for, it's done. Like I have that thought process down on paper, and I can tuck this away. I put this in by the year in my pot planner. And then if I want to come back to it, I know exactly where I am. If I finished a page, I've crossed it off. If I still have to finish filling out the rest of my album map. And then if I have some that are not filled out, I go, oh, perfect. Then I can scrap those pages. But having that list of the photos is so helpful. And I know you can grab your phone and scroll, but for me, the visual impact and the kind of the pencil to paper impact of getting this organized on paper really just helps my process. So then I knew that in July, we went to Georgia for my Aunt Sue's birthday. And that was a super fun trip. So now I can go, well, I didn't really have much for Mother's Day and my birthday, but I can make a few good pages for this trip. And some of you might remember when I was in Ellijay, Georgia, and I even did a live stream from Georgia, live from Georgia, many moons ago. Okay, so what I have then is I printed 8 photos, and this will definitely be a trip. I'll probably do 2 to 3 2-page layouts. But to start with, I loved these pictures of the winery we went to in Ellijay. And so we're going to start by looking at photos and how we're going to kind of get this sorted out as for some pages. Now, just to do a little demonstration, what I did is I took from Sunrays from Days, I took 2 of the Fast to Fab pages. Not that I'm going to end up using these, but I kind of want to demonstrate a few things with this because it makes it kind of easy. So we have just a neutral background. Now, I would not want, the grass necessarily and, for these photos, but let's go ahead and just place some photos on the paper, on these 2 papers, and then just look at where we are. So I've got a couple backgrounds. Let's say, I spent some time picking out paper and came up with these designs with, did a border punch and all of this. And then these are my photos. So if we look right now at this layout, can you see, is there really any hierarchy? Is your eye drawn to a particular photo? Like, is my layout saying, look here first, do this. This is the most important photo I want you to look at first. Or does everything kind of seem about the same? About the same. Yeah. So I'm going to wait for some of your responses. Come on, help me out. Get busy in the chat, friends. We're going to talk this through. Yeah, Debbie says she doesn't see one. Okay, and that's because there really isn't. Like, I've just kind of clustered my photos here, placed them down, but yeah, maybe if there's one, maybe the close-up, because that visually has a little more weight to it. But that isn't necessarily the photo that I want to highlight, because here's a trip. John and I hardly ever get out, so the photo that I want to focus on is this one of us. And yes, it was for my Aunt Sue, but I've got a whole nother page layout that I'm going to be focusing on Sue. But for these photos, that's probably one of your first choices is what do you want to draw people's eye to? You have to make that decision, right? You need to figure that out. And then how do you do that? Okay, so if we look back at how we can do that in a lot of different ways. We can use contrast, bold mattes, darker colors. We can use it by size. We can frame it and we can cluster, and then we can also separate it and make it kind of stand out on its own. Okay. And you saw that a lot when I was sharing my other album for the last video. So now let's just take that first tip, which is let's layer it. Let's do something where just as simple as that. And, you know, I'm noticing with these bright lights, that's not really picking up. But let me grab something else here. Because I don't think I'm going to keep this on this blue paper. Let's see what happens when I put red behind. Oh, look at that. That's now just by highlighting a photo, what happens? Does your eye now go, oh, that's different, right? Oh, that's something different. I need to look there first. At least mine does when I do something just as simple as that. So that's what the beauty of these tips is you can create a super simple layout, just use fast to fab pages and highlight one photo, and then all of a sudden you've created a hierarchy. Now, the other thing is not only are you highlighting this photo by putting a background, but you're also visually making it bigger than all the other photos because you've got the matte. Now, what if we did a double matte? And let's see, where is that? Dark blue. There's a dark blue paper here. Now just look at, if I made a dark blue matte and visually now, wow, okay, woo, now I really want you to look here first, right? So I'm also bringing in the contrast by creating a dark color against all the other colors that are here right now. Okay, so let's go back. Take a look. So you can use contrast, bold mattes, darker colors. You can make, also, I could have printed that photo as a 5x7 and made it bigger. And then that's the focal point because it's the biggest photo on the page. You can frame it like we did. We use different layers. And then the other thing is we can cluster embellishments nearby and also separate it. So let's see what that looks like. So I have this, and then now one thing I noticed in sun rays for days is that the embellishments were lasers. Like we didn't have, little embellishments. So I went ahead and pulled out some yellow flowers just as an example to use. So this is actually, they brought these back. And it's funny because before they brought them back, I had already done my pop crop layout with some of these flowers because I just reorganized a little bit, and I brought my color bin closer to me. If you guys remember, this is my color bin. So it's right next to me, next to all my sentiment stickers. And so now I'm feeling like it's a little easier to access. But let's go ahead and just pull some bigger embellishments over here. And I'm just going to take this out for now, but you guys know what I was going for with that. And now here's some embellishments that I'm clustering around that photo, right? And the other thing that I feel also makes a photo a focal point is connecting it to a title, right? So there's now some clustering going on. And again, what's that saying? Oh, stop here. My eye wants to stop here. So, I better pay attention to this photo. You can even do opposite corners so that, you're framing the photo. And again, making sure that you stop and pay attention. Okay, now these are just examples. I'm just kind of playing with the concept and the idea with these. But do you see how that definitely, now I've kind of created a visual hierarchy. Now, if I want also, this is kind of fun because this is how the visual triangle works. If, say, I want you to stop and really notice another photo, right? I'm going to then, I think I'd put it over here, repeat that element and say, oh, yeah, not only do I want you to look there, and these are really cute photos, but also pause here. And then maybe I want you to end and look at the size difference that I'm picking, and maybe I want you to end over here, okay? So larger, medium, small. And we'll get more into, visual triangles when we talk about that tip. But even just with that, I've created some hierarchy with my pages, right? Just by adding a little visual interest with a frame or some color, making that picture a little bigger, and then adding the embellishments. Now, the other last part is also creating some space around it. So the way you do that then is visually separating your photo, right? And maybe this is where you might want to kind of really go all out, do a cluster, and you're going to leave space around that photo, because just putting this one in kind of clutters up the flow, right? Like if this was really an important photo, and you saw how I did that with the photo of my mom, plus I didn't have very many photos, but taking that out, now that has made that photo even more important on my page, right? Even more important, because I'm saying this is so important, I'm going to take things away so that you can really focus on that photo. Okay, so those are the 4 tips. Let me put them back up one more time so you can see it. Contrast, choose size, and I will be putting this in a blog post also. I have my 10 tips up, but I'm also going to share this. If you're interested, you can find more about each tip on my blog. And I'll take some photos to help you with that. Okay, so choose your contrast, choose your size, frame it, use layers, cluster those embellishments, and then you can also make it stand out by making it stand alone, right? Okay. So any questions on kind of demonstrating how that definitely makes a difference, right? Just in a few little changes to your layout versus starting with everything flat and the same. Okay, so let's actually create what this page is. Now, as I mentioned, I just pulled these out as a common background to use. And the this is the layout that I want to use, but the Sun Rays for Days has some really great photos, really great papers in it. Sorry, really great papers in it. And I do actually like this summer print on the Fast to Fab pages. I'm just not a huge fan of the grass for these photos. I think we can do something a little more fun with the layers. So one thing I wanted to do is also just kind of, again, have my photos handy, and let's take a look at paper selection. So I have these blue as a nice neutral, and then I really wanted a pop of color, so let me find, I guess it's here. Is that the one? So I really thought the orange would give a fun contrast for a pop of color. And then my cousin Rose has this amazing patchwork dress. So you can kind of see now why I was drawn to Sun Rays, right? Because the red goes so well with it, the dark blue, the orange, the yellow, everything is like she was wearing the perfect dress for the layout. But then I also see my husband, John, is wearing this nice blue shirt. So I do want to pay attention to blue in the colors too. And here's the funny thing, you know, we've had these talks before about, well, Lauren, when do you pay attention to the color in your photos versus when do you not pay attention to the colors in your photos? And that is just your personal choice, right? Like when I'm doing the noteworthy pages, when in our monthly meetup, I will pay some attention, but we're using a collection, right? We're basing our pages on a collection. And so I don't pay as much attention to every little thing that's in the photos. But this is a free-for-all. I can do whatever I want with this layout. So I'm choosing my papers, you know, to go in here in a fun way. So I had this idea of kind of creating, because of Rosie's dress and because of the great papers in this collection, I was thinking about kind of just doing a patchwork border. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some detail and some fun work, like just scrap. But then as we're coming back around, we're going to make sure that we pay attention to our focal point. Okay. So kind of, you know, this is real time scrapbooking. How are we going to put this together? So I'm going to take a minute and just cut the blue background, and I'm going to see where that green grass is. So it looks like we can do a nice 9-inch block. Okay, so I'm going to take and start off with a nice neutral background. So this is going to be 9 inches for both of these. And this paper is still available on the website, just FYI, if you like the Fast to Fab. And then we can, let me get some mats out here. Hold on. So we can kind of piece this. I think we're going to do some piecing together. Okay. Might be a little easier for you to see also. Okay, so we've got 9, which means we have 1.5 inches on top and bottom to play around with. Or we can offset that and do 1 inch on top and 2 inches on the bottom. Oh, okay, let's get this up here. I love this one, this photo of my cousin and her brother. So kind of just growing up, going back, we'd always stop at my Aunt Sue's house, and Rosie had the most amazing playhouse, and her brother Chris is just near and dear to our heart. And I love how siblings, even now, you know, they are still, you know, having fun with each other. She's trying to get him to smile. So I love that picture. That was a fun one. She was one of 5. The baby, and my Aunt Sue had 4 boys, and then on her birthday had number 5, who was a girl. I thought that was cute. Okay, so now we've got these. So now I can kind of see. All right, I'm going to get some, now kind of just pop some color in there. I like that orange as a pop. And then I'm going to see, do I want a full 1 inch strip, 1.5? I'm going to see what I'm going to have down here. So color wise, this is a much stronger color than my blue. So I feel like I need to balance that down here with another color, and stronger color than the baby blue. And let's see what we've got. Got so much fun paper here. Oh, I also have this. Oh, that's kind of fun. That, and then we could do the orange down here. I kind of like that top blue. And there's also another orange. Where did that go? Just to mix things up. Oh, we have this. That's part of the Fast to Fab. So that's kind of fun. So visually now I'm kind of giving this darker blue, this orange are kind of the same weight. And the other thought I had, let me go with this, is to, oh, I don't want to forget this, is to also build in color with the different paper patterns. And so, so I didn't want to forget that. Let me move this up. And I punched some of the different papers just to see, like, ooh, what if instead we had some fun with the paper colors. Now this is just using our square punch. And I liked this blue next to Rosie's dress and Cherie's darker color. So we can see how this also brings a lot of fun and play in with just using color, pieces of color. Okay, so actually now that I see all of this here, that's kind of what I'm liking. So we need to just figure out the base. And I want to say for this base, I might do a beige or blue. Let's see. No, I think we need a little contrast. Maybe a little beige. Or we do have this beige stripe. Hold on. There's a lot of different papers here. There's another one. Let's see. We have, I'm trying to figure out how I can make this stripe. Oh, that's kind of fun. I do like this stripe. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with that. We're going to go kind of a little tone-on-tone pattern for the background, create all the background neutral. And I do love the little pops of color with the papers. I think that's a fun. Yeah. Okay. So, and Sherry's saying, yeah, I'm not sure about that cloud print, Lauren. So let's tone it down. Let's tone it down a little bit. Okay. Let me get my trimmer. You'll see. We'll make it work. I'm just going to trim off the edges here. And what we're going to need is, do I want an inch on the top? So I'm going to go ahead and cut an inch here. So an inch here. And then we're going to need 2 inches on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 inches here on the bottom. Okay. All right. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to cut the top off here. I missed it. Okay. And then I am ready to replace my, I gotta do some upkeep on my trimmer. And then we're gonna do 1 inch. Oh, yes, 1 inch. So see, these are gonna match. And then we're gonna flip it around and do the 2 inches. Okay, so this is gonna make a really nice neutral background, and it's gonna let us have a lot of fun with the colors from the paper. Okay, I am going to get a background paper. And just going to use some white to help stick this all together. Okay. You could also tape chip it if you want. Or I could have also thought to do this directly on my black pages, but I'm just going to kind of place it here so we can see. And who knows, if I use repo, I can always move it, right? To the page. So now I've got this nice neutral tan stripe, this fun print paper. I'll just pop this in here so you can see. And then we've got a lot of room to play with color. Okay. So we've got these two, and now I can have some fun with these printed, all this printed paper. Because I love the lemons. I love that plaid. That plaid just goes so great with her dress. And there's just a lot of fun in these patterns. I think I have my sun upside down there. Okay. Now we've got kind of this layout, but there still really isn't a visual hierarchy. If anything, my eye is now going down here where all this pattern is, right? So we need to do something about that and go back to this photo and add some interest there, right? So we can do that with, the blue. I just was drawn to this blue. But then we want to add the visual weight. And so I was thinking about a double matte. But you tell me, what do you guys like? Do you like the... Now I'm kind of into the red that we put in here the first time. Maybe we need the red. I think that's better. So now we can give that photo a pop by using the size and the double matte to that. Okay. So already we're seeing how that color is now balancing this fun little strip down here. Okay. So I've kind of got a plan, I feel like, and we'll just kind of work with this. Let's put this page together and see how it's going. Now, since these matte cards are not available anymore, I'm just going to do a quick little gut on this matte card because all I need is the outside, right? And I might want to punch that or do something fun with that. And then I just need to add, whoa, almost dropped that on the floor. Then I just need to add my photo to the frame. Okay. And there. Okay. Let me see if I'm missing anything in the chat. What do you like? The red. Red with the blue. Okay. I really like the red. Okay, good. I'm going the right direction. Thank you, guys. All right. So now let's get some of that contrast put back in there. And we're going to contrast it with this dark blue. This is kind of the night sky looking. And because, again, I'm going for visual weight, I'm going to give a really nice matte to that. I'm going to give it some visual weight by not making it a teeny tiny skinny matte, but really a nice big matte. Carrie, this is where I need your spacers again. Oh, it's coming. At some point it's coming. We'll have them. All right. So I can figure this out because I missed that first cut. Now let's get this one a little better. There we go. All right. So we have this photo now says, pay attention to me, right? Pay attention to me. And I still have lots of room for some portrait, 4x6 or a 4x4. This cute one of Aunt Sue. All right, so now we can have a little fun with the details. And actually, let me see. I think I may... let me see if I can work. I may do a quick change up and work right in on a black page just so I can pop it into my album. If I have a black page handy here. Okay. So instead of going directly on the white, now let's just work straight on here. I need to get my act together tonight, don't I? Okay, here we go. But it's good. I do know, hey, I know that this album has black pages. Actually, and do I know, 1 second, I do know that this comes right after 4th of July, too. which I have those pages scrapped. Here's 4th of July. Oh, see, now since I have my album map, I'm going to go right in here instead of loose. Okay, look at that. And then they'll be in order and everything. Okay, so I promise we'll get this put together. Oh, look, the stripes are the same on both sides. Okay. Just have to make sure I want both of these sides to match. So let's go straight in the album. And our next block. Now, since I am going straight in my book, I could also use the permanent dots too, which I've been finding those are super fun. Super fun. I mean, I like them both. I like the strips and the dots. Okay. Now, oh, it looks good in the album, doesn't it? Sometimes you just got to go for that. Here, I think I lost. Oh, there it is. My lemons. All right. I think we're going to go about there. Now that I have this is going to kind of go on top. So let's get these in place. About right there. And these as I mentioned, I just did these with the square punch. So they are 1 3/4 inch squares. And I think if I get this here, yep. And I just need one more pattern for over here. And I think maybe we'll do that. Should we do the blue? So this is going to be just a little peek out of the blue. I think that would be fun. All right. And the back side of that is the tan. Okay, so I don't need to go in between. Something is wrong with my paper. That's okay. I'll fix it later. In between here, because this photo, I don't need to put a square there because that photo is going to go right over it. And we have those in place. Okay. So we have this photo. We can add in here. And my cousins are going to go right here. And then my Aunt Sue. And then we have our main focal point photo, right? Okay, so we have done the matting and the contrast for this photo, But we can also add some other things like we had shown before, which is add some clusters and some embellishments. And one of them that I found, where'd it go? Here it is. This is also a title. This one says, "You Are My Sunshine." So I just brought it out to see if that might work. This is from the butterscotch, right? Butterscotch collection. So there were, again, when you're looking, I was kind of looking for yellows and bright colors. There weren't little embellishments in the Sunrays pack, but then we'll have to see if maybe there's something that's a little too big. I'm thinking all of these are just a little big. But it's always fun to mix up collections as well. Okay, well, we'll put that as a maybe. Oh, and we do have, what we do have for this collection, I forgot, is this cute little die cut border, right? The laser border. So we could use this as a layering piece. And I think I'll just snip it here. And then we can add that to the bottom. Oh, are they the same on both sides? Let's see. Oh, this has little blue. Oh, I like the little blue. Little blue dots. I think we'll go with that. Okay. And let's see, what do we need? I think we need the end over here. So I'll add this little guy. Over here. And then we can save those other ones for, we can use that maybe as an embellishment cluster. We'll see. That could help with the title, something. Okay. I did have some summer stickers. Let's see. I like this one that says, "Every summer has a story." Life is better in summer. I love summer. Fun. Okay. So there's just something we need to do is create a title. Again, to draw some more attention to the focal point. So I'm going to trim this out. And I think what I'll do also is just finish putting the other page together and then see. So here's a question for you guys. Can you think of another collection that has some fun summer embellishments we might be able to pull in? You're my go-to knowledge gurus of all things. Creative memories, right? Okay, so let's put this over here. And if Julie R. were watching, Julie, you would probably whip out Evernote, huh? And just go, "Oh yeah, Lauren, you can use da-da-da-da-da-da," because she's got it all organized in Evernote. these in here. Okay, got that. How easy. I think I'm going to swap these this way. Just like that. Okay, did you guys? I envy the organization of Julie too, Carrie. She's got it going on. She's got it going on. I'm going to scoot that down. All right, have you guys thought of any? Any embellishments? Come on, help me out, friends. What should I, we'll figure it out, but I could use your help. I could dig in my other summer collections. I did look in my color bin, my yellow color bin. Okay. Oh, and I did not put the colors over here, so we need to do that too. But while I'm working on that, you guys help me out with the, let's see. I'm going to need to punch another one of these. I think I'll go this way. And I need a lemon and a night sky and here we go. The red plaid. Trying to get it right centered. There we go. The other side is not as important. It's stripes. Okay. I think I want to put the red and that little touch. Isn't that great with her dress? I love that. Do that over there. Looks like I need one more. Which one did I miss? Oh, the orange. The orange has the blue waves on the back. Okay. Here we go. This must be the paper. And the orange. Okay. Oh, I have the stripes. Do I want stripes or blue? Maybe we're going to skip stripes on this side. Kind of like those colors peeking through. And you're not going to see anything behind John's photo. So and we can decide, you could use another laser strip or just leave it. Where's my tape? Okay. Let's see. I have a layout started at the pop, hoping, okay. Oh. Hello, Jackie from Australia, from Oz. Sun rays for days. Yeah, this is sun rays for days. So, okay, we'll just have to go looking for some inspiration, some embellishments. I might have to pull out something else. There we go. So this is, you can see, this is kind of getting covered up by this photo. So what I'm going to do, because I'm using repo, I'm going to move these up a little bit. Let me get these in place. I just forgot to put the border across. Fun colors of paper though. About halfway up. I'm going to move these. Which two am I going to? Maybe I do want the stripies. I don't. I want a little variation in there. Okay. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit more so we can see that. And then I have plenty of room. There we go. Okay. So there is the background. I'm going to move my mats. All right, did you guys figure it out? Let me go look really quick for, let's see. Does Sun Soaked have anything in here, or is it really just tropical? Tropical. Pretty tropical. Sun Soaked, pretty tropical. And let's look at Sweet Summer. Sweet Summer. Oh, you know what? I'm forgetting stickers. Let's look at the stickers. Okay. Here we go. Let's add some fun with some stickers. Maybe that's where we need the color. Let's see if we can find some good color. We've got the flowers, the Adirondack chair. This is really cute, this little barbecue, summer vacations, handy toast, green grass, blue skies. Time for an adventure. Okay. Still. All right. Kind of feel like our biggest maybe is the Adirondack chair because we were kind of relaxing. Let's put this on some foam and just see how that sits on there. Okay. Getting my big roll of foam out. I love this. There's a lot there. Okay. This is gonna last for days. Days and days. Okay. So we have a little chair and We've got some fun flowers. That would go. Watermelon. The clouds. All right. Kind of stumped, guys. I'll have to say it. I'm kind of stumped with what else. All right. Summertime. Let's see. Summertime. Let me see. Where is summertime? Oh, yes. Let's take a look at summertime. Summertime had a lot of pink and green. Did they have embellishments in this one? Or just lasers again? Well, there's a palm tree. That wouldn't really work for Georgia, though, would it? They had some cute lasers with this one. Yeah, gosh. All right, well, how about for punches? Well, sorry. Let's see what we can do. We're going to get a circle. Where are my circles? We're going to get a circle. And we're going to make this come together. Okay, that's a good size right there. And I feel like we're going to repeat that circle. And let's see if I can find one more. Here we go. I may have to pull in those flowers again, huh? I mean, they do work. And all else fails, go floral, right? We can have some fun with the flowers. Clemmy, where are you digging to there, girlie? Where are you digging to? That's too big. That's not going to work with the chair. Okay. I feel like I want a big sun. Was there a sun in one of these? I mean, there's this one, but this is too big. Or maybe... Possibly. This is called Stump Lauren Night. How about that? How to work with this collection and make it all finish up. Okay, what do you think? A flower pot in the chair. Yeah, let's try it. I'm going to bring the brightness down. Citrus border punch. Oh, cute. Cute idea. Citrus border punch. Let's see what else. Or the wine border. Yeah. The wine border maker. So where would I put that? I like your ideas. Cold drinks border punch. Wine stickers. Any Italian stickers. Cold drink. Okay. Oh dear. Patchwork border on the right side. Yes. Okay. I'm just looking for some Okay. I think it's not really my favorite. I think we might just keep it simple. I do like this title. Let's make this happen. And put this here. And we're going to put that on some more foam tape just to elevate that. Clemmy, are you frustrated too? Clem's frustrated. She's like, I don't like it when Mama can't figure this out. All right. Oh, I have an idea. You know what? I haven't looked in a long time. Let me see. Hold on. Where is that folder? Oh, yeah. Oh, see, we forgot. Yeah, summer break. Summer break. Summer break had an artsy add-on too. That's where I thought there was a sun. I was trying to remember where that cute little sun was. Okay. Here comes, oh yeah. That's really cute, right? Where is that going to go? These kind of have the right colors, don't they? Maybe we can pull in some summer break in with this sun rays. I do like this. I think we're going to go up here. And some more foam tape. Okay, where'd I put that? Let's get some more of this. All right. There we go. Okay. And it's not wine glasses. I could go digging in, but you know, something that's a little big, isn't it? Not sure about that one. Let me take that back here. I do like the Adirondack. I do like this. And I like the sun. So we just need some more layers though, don't we? Let's see. Oh, I've got some leaves right there. I think, you know what? I think we're going to go with some floral elements and bring in some color because I need some color over here. And we're going to do that with even a little more dimension on these guys. So we're going to put one here, and then we're going to do two, let's see, I'll do the yellow down and then the orange over here. There we go. So now we've got some color. Now we can figure out. I think I might move this down just a smidge. And then we have some room there. Or we can pull this whole thing down and go up there. Oh, I like that. Let's do that. Okay. Sometimes you just need... Bear might be visiting, right? I know, my daughter was visiting, so she was barking because she wanted to say hello. There we go. Now we have kind of a spot where we're saying, let's start here. This is visual impact. Kind of move across, and then we're going to end up over here. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the layering shape, but I do like this little sun. So this came from the other, which collection? Summer Break. We could do a secondary title down here. With the chair. And there were some cute little hearts. I like this little red heart. All right, so now we've kind of got some more interest, visual interest, but boy, that was a little hard, huh? To get it going. And these are really cute flowers too. That's another option. I'm not sure about mixing those, but this one actually, do I like it better? Let's see. I actually like it better. I'm gonna do a quick change here. Another good reason. Design is fluid, right? And I like the brightness of those flowers a little better. So we're going to save the other flowers for another layout, but we've got some fun colors going on. There we go. Little dimension. Okay, this, and then I think, you know, probably a last thing would be maybe just another little sentiment over here. Oh, this one's cute. This one says, just doing what we do. And let me get a little strip for that. And I think, I think we're finally going to finish. All right. Go a little smaller. There we go. All right, friends. Sorry for the struggle. The struggle can sometimes be real, but I hope we did really kind of pinpoint about focal point. And it's a good thing this wasn't the embellishment tip, because that would have been a real struggle. for that embellishments. Okay, let me see if I can just smidge this up just a smidge. If it's gonna let me. Okay, because I want this here. Just doing what we do. Okay. Or do I want this here? Indecisiveness tonight. Don't I have indecisiveness? Now I'm just really getting into this sticker. Should have left the foam tape on there until I was ready, huh? Okay. I think maybe like that. Just there. Okay, that's better. Let me put some adhesive on here now. All right, friends. Whew. Let's add that. And I reserve the right to make any other final details, but that is it. Start to finish. So there's my focal point. And then we've also kind of carried that through, let you guys end up coming across both pages. Okay. And yes, Sherry Lynn, journaling, of course, yes. So I do have other photos from this day. And so most likely what happens when I have a layout that ends up like this and I go, oh no, journaling, you know what I'll do. What's the answer? Peekaboo pockets. Yes. Peekaboo pockets. So I'll probably print one more photo, make this into a 4x4 peekaboo pocket, and then put the journaling underneath. So most likely. There were some other great photos from this winery visit that I didn't get to print out yet. So thank you for keeping me on my toes. Yes, we always have to add the journaling. All right. So there it is. Woo! We had to kind of dig in the stash and figure out some other sources, but the summer break came to the rescue. Those fun colors from there. That red really kind of pops with my cousin's dress, and we got it. Okay. So any questions, let me know. Let me see if I got everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the floral, see, and I should be looking at the chat. There's other, a lot of other great ideas. So here's what I'll do. If I find, I'm going to read through the chat, and if you've got some other fun ideas and I can add it to the layout, I'll do that. And then I will take a photo and put it on the blog. How about that? Okay. So, Golden Sunshine Embellishment Pack. Oh yes, Carrie, right. I remember those little cute suns too. Okay. So I'm going to dig through your comments and see all your good ideas and see what we can do. All right, so to wrap up, I have one more thing just to wrap up about focal points, and that is really what to avoid. What to avoid is indecision, like you saw me tonight. But also what to avoid is if you have too many competing elements. And if your layout is too clustered and there's too many things going on and your eye is a little confused, a confused mind says, help, right? Like, where do I look? And so, kind of, you may want to take things away and help, again, focus on the most important aspects of your page. And also, some other tips. So give that page a little bit of love. If you enjoy spending a little more time thinking about the design tips And it does, as you've seen me kind of struggle through this, it does take a little more time to kind of think through the whole process. And what do I want people to look at? What do I want to see, as the page comes together? And this is a very simple page, even though the embellishments took a little longer. The layout is really, really simple. So I hope you enjoyed our little talk on um, creating focal points, and that was my main goal tonight, was to give you a little tip on that. And next time we will work on design tip number 2, and that is I believe it was the rule of thirds, which is also a very fun tip to think about, especially when you're printing photos also. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining in the fun tonight. I enjoyed having you here and leaning on you to help me with my design. Sometimes I need some help. Okay, and hopefully we'll finish this up. We'll see what it looks like in the morning. Might add a few more things, and the journaling, my peekaboo pocket, and I'll make sure to post the finished product. All right, friends, have a great rest of your night and a wonderful Easter weekend. Bye for now.